So I know I've talked about this a little bit in other videos, like on my TikTok and things, but I don't think I've ever touched on it here. And I haven't really found any other videos on it here when I've been searching for information. So I'm sure there are people on here who will have information for me, which is part of why I want to share this. So I'm talking about today my Fujifilm x100f. So this beautiful little camera here. Cinematic does not like this. So this camera has a fixed 35mm equivalent lens length, which is super great for just casual photos and stuff. I take it all the time with me. Like I've told you guys before, this camera has made a world of difference to me. Like, do I want the V? Like for some reasons, yes, I would love it, but that's financially not going to be an option for me, unfortunately. So the F is what it is. Although I will say the one thing they did change that I've seen everybody talk about that I don't like is they got rid of the D-pad on the V. And I really like that because I use it a lot. So for me, that's a keeper. But yes, if I could get the V, I would, because I would like the faster autofocus, the closer like f2 lens, like the sharperness of it, whatever. My words aren't here, it's early. And then like the slightly tilting screen for like, yeah, those cool shots when you're doing street photography and stuff. Yes, I would love that. However, not worth the price I would have to pay to get that if you can even find one in stock. So if someone ever wanted to send me one, that's great, but otherwise that's not gonna be an option. It's not something I can use for my business stuff either, really, so it's not worth that. But what I wanted to talk about today is mostly just about the digital teleconverter. Now, most people shy away from ever using those. It's basically where the camera zooms in for you. There's no zoom on this lens, it's a fixed lens, but it has a digital teleconverter built in. Now my Olympus cameras have that as well, and when I used them in the past just to try them, it was not good. The quality definitely went down, and that could also be because it is micro four thirds, so it's even more cropped, and also because of the micro four thirds is not known for having the best dynamic range, which sucks because I love my Olympus cameras. And I've been working on ways to try and get around that, like always shooting in RAW and things. But with this, I always shoot JPEG. And I like the fact that so I've been having to do a little bit more photography for my church, for their social media pages. I am not great at candids and trying to get sneaky shots. That is so not me. I feel so awkward doing that. And like last week, I took my Canon R6 and I actually took my 105 macro lens because it doesn't have to be macro, but that's the longest lens I own. Even like my 85 felt like I had to get too close to be able to get good. Like you want those shots that really tell a story. You want the closer shots. You don't want a wide shot. So I just felt kind of like, and I'm carrying like all this stuff with me. So Sunday, I was like, well, I don't have the ability to carry all my camera gear today because we had stuff going on. So I was like, I'm just gonna bring this. And I also brought my teleconversion lens that goes on it, which makes it a 50mm equivalent. Now, when I use it like this, without the this lens on it, the digital teleconverter will take it to, I believe it's 50, I set it so that my ring controls it, so it goes to 50 and then 70, which is a pretty decent distance, and it's still like this small and compact. Great. When I put this on, it can go up to 100mm zoomed in with that digital teleconverter on. So that makes a huge difference to have just this little tiny body with 100mm distance. Like that's great. But the biggest thing that I have noticed, that for me personally, I do not notice a drop in quality when I use the digital teleconverter versus like if I were to crop an image in later or something. I don't notice a difference. I still think the images look sharp. I have posted some videos like on my TikTok and Instagram of doing this at like high school basketball games because I was testing that, and the images still look great. Like honestly, I think the quality looked great. I even liked a little bit of the vintagey look that sometimes this gives with like the grain and like the film simulations. So the only thing I've noticed is that there are a lot of settings that you unfortunately cannot use while you're using the digital teleconverter. No one really talks about those, but I've tried to, because when I went to a gymnastics meet a few weeks ago and they're very weird about what you can bring in, I only brought this camera with my teleconversion lens, and it was kind of a fight between, do I want to be able to use the digital teleconversion and get closer, but not be able to use burst mode with it, because you can only use that in single shot mode. Once I turned on the burst mode, the digital teleconverter did not come up as an option. So that's one of those situations where it's like, which would you rather have? So I kind of tested out both to see which. I wish I could use it with that, but I think it's because the camera, when it's using the digital teleconverter, and someone can tell me if I'm wrong because I don't know this for certain, I think it's because it's doing a lot of processing to the photo to use the digital teleconverter. It's basically, I think, cropping it for you in a way. And that's also why you can't use it with raw images, which is the other one I found out, because I would love to be able to shoot in raw with this and then be able to adjust things later, but you can't use the digital teleconverter while this is on, even if it's on, what is it, large, fine plus raw, I think is what it is. I tried setting it that way and it still didn't do that, which I was hoping it would at least let me do that, but no. So, especially again for the church photography stuff, they kind of want our photos to all look similar. So I'm trying to shoot in raw, but I can't do that with this. So at least if I want to use the digital teleconverter. So far I've still been using JPEG on this because honestly, I think they still look really good. But those are my observations with this camera lately. I still love using it. I carry it every day. I carry it in my purse. It actually makes me want to take photos all the time, which is great. Like even when my husband and I are on dates and things, I will just pull it out to snap quick photos like at the restaurant or of our food or things. And it's just nice to have those little memories. And they aren't just random iPhone snaps that just, no offense, I love my Apple products, but the iPhone camera sucks. I don't like the over sharpening and crazy stuff it does. And since I don't have a Pro, I can't change that and put it on RAW. So I prefer this for all my photos and I love it. I think it just like, I don't know, it's just very special to me. And I've started carrying it in my purse in a little like makeup compact type case because I started realizing, okay, this camera means a lot to me. They're not easy to find. I do not want anything to happen to it. So now I keep it in a little case in there too. But no, I love this camera. Now a question for anybody who does know this answer. I'm trying to figure out if I have to have any sort of adapter on my lens here. So mine does not have anything on it. It has the threads there. But the thing is, like I noticed, so it did come with, the person who sold it to me also had a lens hood and adapter ring. So I'll show you guys that. So they sent it to me with this, let's see if you can see it, lens hood and adapter. But when I put the adapter on, the lens filter on, I cannot put my, I can't put my lens cap on. So I don't really like doing that. I haven't used it at all because I don't like that I can't put my lens cap on. Now, obviously when it's in my purse, lens cap is always on it. It's always on there. And I love this little lens cap. It fits great. It's so easy. But yeah, that's my only issue is if I put anything on it, it doesn't fit. The lens cap does not fit on there anymore because I tried that and that did not work too well. So I am curious what you guys think because I know like mostly people talk about the V. I don't get a lot of information about the F. I don't have the V and I probably won't, like I said, unless someone sends it to me, I'm not ever going to be able to get that. So, but I know some people said like the lens when it's focusing, like that's what could damage it if you have something else. Like if you were to put like a Cinebloom filter or a Pro Mist filter, I'm pretty sure you do have to have an adapter on. But then my mind is going, okay, then what lens cap do I use? Because this is what I have and it does not fit over in like adapter ring on there or anything. So I'm just curious what anybody else knows about that because that is something, these are things that I have been trying to find out about this camera and they are hard to find out. So, but yeah, that's my video for today. I still think this is a phenomenal camera if you can get it. I found mine secondhand on eBay and it has been so phenomenal to use and I love it. I carry it everywhere. But seriously, this is a great camera. I highly, highly recommend it, or even one of the older models because I don't think a lot changed between them. If I could change anything about this, it would be that I wish I had a touchscreen, which I know is why they got rid of the D-pad on the V because it has a touchscreen. Because sometimes I'm trying to focus right where I want it and I'm like, oh right, no touchscreen. That's kind of my main thing. And like the autofocus isn't as snappy, but I also put the camera on high performance, which it doesn't come automatically on. And when you do that, the autofocus works a lot better. It just drains more battery. So I actually, yesterday finally got 2 more batteries for it because I didn't have any extras. And when I would do things like going to that gymnastics meet and then we're driving like 2.5 hours back, I was like, well, I can't transfer the images because I already used all the battery at the meet. So You can charge it, I just didn't bring a cable with me. It does have a way that you can charge it while it's like connected, like, yeah, you can connect it and charge it. But yeah, that's more than you guys probably wanted to know. But if you have any questions about this, let me know. But also, if you have any answers to the things that I mentioned, please enlighten me, because some of those things I don't know, like I haven't been able to find the answers. So just tell me.